Yo, what is up, guys? James Carter TV here to recap the Tennessee Titans loss to the New England Patriots. First, allow me to give a programming note as to why I have not been here for the past couple of weeks. As some of you know, finals week, actually for me it was a little later than everyone else, but finals week was this week for a lot of colleges in the nation. A lot of other colleges had it like a week before, but Vanderbilt for some reason wanted us to stay until freaking December freaking 19. But I'm back now. I got that crap out of the way. It was a lot of crap to deal with, but I dealt with it and I did good at the end of the day. So with that said, I'm back in action and it's time to recap the Titans and Patriots game. I'll be back to recap and maybe the Broncos and Steelers game later. And of course, as you know, I recap each and every game. I mean, I get my takeaways, but you know, those are my main recaps today. And then also the Sunday night game as well. So we're going triple coverage here today. And we're going to start with the Tennessee Titans loss to the New England Patriots. Now, everyone knew the Titans were going to lose this game. I mean, this was no surprise to me. Second of all, when we look at the score of this game, it really shouldn't come as a surprise at all. It looked like it was going to be worse than this after the first quarter, definitely after the second quarter, but the Titans actually competed in the second half. Did they outscore the Patriots in the second half? Yes, they did. As the Titans scored 13 points, the Patriots scored 10. So the Titans competed in the second half. They made things interesting maybe not interesting. We knew the Patriots were going to win, but they scored some points. They played some defense. But ultimately, the underlying and the takeaway is the Titans suck. But we already knew this. At least I knew it. And the Titans need to fire General Manager Russell Webster tomorrow. And not really because of this game. I mean, this game just proved what we already knew. It's just that this roster isn't very good. Fire the general manager now. Use the next 2 weeks to hire a new general manager. That way, when the regular season ends, boom, you are ready to start interviewing head coaches. You have to get ahead of the game. You have the opportunity now to fire a general manager, prepare, hire a general manager, prepare, and hire a head coach. You have this window. Russell Webster should be fired tomorrow if I'm Amy Adams Strunk. And she said mid-season, and I hope she was lying, and there's a very high possibility that she was. But she said that she was comfortable with Russell Webster because, well, a lot of his draft picks are still on the roster. We've compared data and we've seen that he's right on par with in terms of the players that are drafted and stay on the roster. And while that is true, the problem is these are bad players. Yes, they're still on the roster. Yes, the Titans don't really pick guys, second round, third round guys, and they get released. Yes, but they should be released. On a good team, they would be released because these aren't good players. Justin Hunter, B.D. Ray Wilson, these are the type of players that Bristol Sankey. These guys aren't NFL talents, and yet they're on this roster because, well, they're good enough to be on this roster, but this doesn't mean that they're good players. Fire Russell Webster tomorrow. Marcus Mariota goes down with another MCL sprain. Taylor Lewan to blame for this one. I mean, Taylor Lewan, I still think he's a left tackle. I see people say, oh, he's not a left tackle. I think he's a left tackle. I don't think he's very good. I think he's better than average, maybe average. The problem is he's not perfect. He can go 5 games without allowing a sack, and then 1 game he'll allow 2, and then we're like, ah! But he's fine. You know, so really it just depends. What does this next coaching staff want to do? Do they want to move him to the right side? I wouldn't. But if that's really what they want to do, fine. If it's me, I'm not drafting Laramie Tunsil the first pick just because I feel like you can easily grab a Joey Bosa or Laquan Treadwell or Jalen Ramsey with that first pick, come back in the top of the second round and draft a right tackle, and you'll get a good right tackle at the top of the second round. And that's my strategy. But if you take a Laramie Tunsil number 1, okay, he plays left tackle, Lawan plays right. Then with your next pick, you're picking a guy at a position that may not be great. You may pick a wide receiver that may not be great in the second round, top of the second round, because we've seen with Dorial Green-Beckham, we've seen with Justin Hunter, we don't do very well with second round wide receivers at the top of the second round. If you take a cornerback at the top of the second round, I don't know. That can sometimes be very dicey as well, whether or not you're gonna find a lot of success there. If you take a tackle, you take who's the kid out of Gerald Hawkins out of LSU. You take a guy like that, Jack Conklin, if he comes out at the top of the second round, you can get a good right tackle, and that way you don't have to spend your first overall pick on a left tackle and then move your guy to right tackle. I think you can do better, but I think you'd be a little more creative than that. And then ultimately, we want to trade down. I mean, everyone wants that, and we don't just say trade down. It's easy to say, it's hard to do. So even though we want to trade down, everyone wants to say trade down, yes, but it's not easy to do. And if they don't have a good offer, they're not going to do it. So right now, I'm assuming they're picking first until they're not picking first. That's my strategy going forward. So anyway, with that said, I mean, no more takeaways. I mean, the Patriots, they won, good for them. We didn't learn anything from this game. The one thing I will have learned is DGB is now becoming a good NFL wide receiver. I didn't see any blunders from this guy except for maybe one play, but he had 6 receptions, 113 yards, good play from Dorial Green-Beckham. He needs to be a good wide receiver going forward, but don't you dare miss out on getting a wide receiver in here during the offseason. We still need to get at least one, I think 2 wide receivers over the offseason, 1 premier wide receiver during the offseason. That means to me either a first or second round pick or a wide receiver that you're paying at least $8 million. I mean, you need to bring in somebody to this offense because although Dorial Green-Beckham is progressing nicely, we need weapons. And I think you should get a lower echelon, like an Eddie Royal, or like a Dwayne Bowe kind of sucks now, but like a Dwayne Bowe to come and be your fourth guy that can come and just catch crap. We don't need you great receiver. We just need some guys that can just come make catches. Because right now, Trey McBride, has he caught a ball? I mean, this guy's out there running around. I don't think he's caught anything. So we need a 4th wide receiver. Harry Douglas isn't consistent. Get him out of here. We need a 4th wide receiver, and we need a number 1/2. That is what we need going forward. Let's see if the Titans can get it done. All right, so with that said, let me give you my takeaways from all of the early games here today. Now, let's start with the games I had wrong. Now, I didn't make a picks video, but you can just take my word for it. I had the St. Louis Rams. Yeah, we'll start with the Thursday night game. I had the St. Louis Rams losing to the Buccaneers, but they won that game. Good for them. I can't believe Jeff Fisher's going to keep his job, but it sounds more and more like he's going to keep his job. The Bucs are not going to make the playoffs in 2015, but in 2016, hey, let's have a discussion. That's really all the takeaways from that. All right, next we have the Carolina Panthers. They remain undefeated, 14-0. They took down the New York Giants. Cam Newton solidified himself as the most valuable player in the NFL. And I think they're still going to lose in the playoffs. But hey, they're undefeated. Good for them. I think they may remain undefeated. Although, I wouldn't sleep on Jameis Winston coming to town in week 17. When you guys might be a little lackadaisical. And Jameis Winston has shown an ability to win games on the road and play well on the road. So I would watch out for that one. But I think you guys will beat the Falcons pretty easily. The Falcons, they won today. But yeah, and let's get into that. So the Falcons, they won today. I mean, good. You're still out of the race. I don't care. Look, the Vikings are making the playoffs. The Seahawks are making the playoffs. You are not making the playoffs. But at least you guys have shown an ability to stop this absolute snowball effect that has become the Atlanta Falcons. But you guys have some work to do heading into 2016, though, because, man, what a horrible losing streak. And also, let me go back. Okay, on the Giants, because I didn't talk about the Giants. The Giants, they lost today. They competed. But who cares? You lost. You took an L. You guys, this is your thing. You always compete. I mean, I think we always expect the Giants to compete. This is no surprise. The Giants competed. This isn't the takeaway. The takeaway is when the Giants actually win games. And this is something that they can't do. They can't win games. They can't finish games. And they couldn't come back and finish the comeback in this game. And ultimately, now you have the Redskins who won today. I'm about to get into them in a second. you guys are in trouble. You guys are letting this NFC East just slip through your fingers and through your hands, and it's a shame. All right, so for the Jaguars in that Atlanta Falcons matchup, you know, the Jaguars suck, and I can't believe it. They're going to keep Gus Bradley, most likely. You got to get rid of this guy. And you know how many games the Jaguars should have won this year? They should have beat the Falcons today. They should have beat the Titans a couple weeks ago. They should have beat the Colts. They should have beat the Texans. I mean, this team, how many games do they have to lose until Shad Khan or Dave Caldwell or whoever's in charge fires Gus Bradley? Because this guy does not get enough out of this team. Once the defense actually held a team to 23 points, that should be enough for them to win. But then now Blake Bortles doesn't play good enough. And I don't care. Jag fans are going to say, well, he did play good enough, blah, blah, blah. The offensive line. No, he didn't play good enough. He put up 17 points. They lost the game. That's all I see there. All right, the Houston Texans, they beat the Indianapolis Colts, and it appears as if the Houston Texans are going to win the AFC South. But next week they're going to Tennessee, and I know the Titans suck. Look, I'm a Titans fan. You don't got to tell me that. But man, you're starting Brandon Weeden at quarterback, and that is not gonna warrant a lot of pride out of your lineup. And look, DeAndre Hopkins is great. You guys only put up 16 points today. Now, the defense is playing great right now, but I think you guys might lose next week. I mean, I really do. If you win, congratulations. The AFC South is yours. But honestly, I don't think the Texans are winning next week, man. And it pains me to say, because I want the Titans to get the #1 pick. If you beat us, good, because I want the #1 pick. But man, I don't know. I think the Texans might lose next week because I don't have any faith in Brandon Weeden. And I'm not sure that Texans offense does either. Or maybe the defense, because J.J. Watt even said in a press conference, man, we've been through 4 to 5 quarterbacks this year, or past 2 years. So he's sick of this crap, and he should be. But hey, Bill O'Brien has done a good job coaching this team down the stretch. I wasn't sure they were going to win another game midway through the season, but they got things going, and they're winning games, and they may win the AFC South. Now, the Indianapolis Colts, they let the AFC South slip through their fingers, but I don't think they care. They knew they weren't going to win the Super Bowl. They want Chuck Pagano out of there. He will be. They want Ryan Grigson out of there. He won't be. And we'll see how things go from there. All right, next we have the Washington Redskins. They beat the Buffalo Bills. Good for the Redskins. I wasn't expecting this. I had the Bills winning this game. The Redskins, they came out, they played well. Kirk Cousins playing the best football of his career thus far, except for that one game against Dallas. That one game against Dallas, I'm sure he wishes he could have back. But hey, you know, they're playing great. They look poised to win the NFC East. So good for them. Good for the Redskins. Good for Jay Gruden, who's done a hell of a job this year. I mean, come on, give him props. He has. All right, the Kansas City Chiefs, they beat the Baltimore Ravens. You know, who cares? I mean, we get it. The Chiefs are rolling. The Ravens suck. I mean, we knew this about both teams. But the Chiefs will be very dangerous in the playoffs. Are they poised? I think they're poised to get maybe the 5th or 6th seed, depending on if the Jets ever lose a game. And I think they might next week, but we'll see how things progress. So the Chiefs are going to be very difficult. So who are they going to be matched up against? Either the Texans, they'd win. Or I think the Bengals, who might lose a couple games under A.J. McCarron. Or maybe the Broncos, actually. So we'll see. Is it the Broncos or the Bengals being the 3 seed? I can see a scenario where both AFC wildcards win their games. They go to whoever is going to Houston or Indianapolis is going to win. So congratulations, you are going to win. I don't care if it's the Steelers, the Jets, or the freaking Chiefs. If you go to Houston or Indianapolis, you're going to win. So yay, a win for the 5th seed. So everyone should be trying to get that 5th seed. From there, match up against the 3rd seed. If it's the Broncos, that's tough. That's difficult. If it's the Bengals, the A.J. McCarron Bengals, it's still difficult, but I like your chances in that one. So we'll see how things progress there. We have the Minnesota Vikings. They beat the Chicago Bears. Bears are becoming more and more like who we thought they were. They're now, what, 5-9 or 5-10, whatever the hell they are. And yeah, the wheels are coming off, and it's not very good. So and I'm going 7-9. I changed that to 6-10 mid-season. Maybe they'll get to that 6, but man, things are tough. Yeah, things are tough in Chicago right now. And Minnesota, they're rolling. Teddy Bridgewater had the game of his career. Good. You know, the people have been criticizing him lately, I think, a little more than he deserves. This is a good quarterback, guys. He showed that today. Let's see what he can do in the playoffs. I don't think he'll do anything. I mean, he may throw a couple touchdown passes. I don't think he's going to win the game. But if he goes out there, he wins a playoff game. Hello, Teddy Bridgewater. And then we have the Jets yesterday. They beat the Dallas Cowboys. You know, we all knew the Jets would win. I didn't think it was going to be as close as it was, but they did. So now the big game next week. They're facing the New England Patriots. Can they win that one? If they do, good. Who did they face the last week? Is it the Dolphins or the Bills? I'm not sure. If it's the Dolphins, that's a W. If it's the Bills, I don't know. So we'll see how things go. I think it may be the Bills, but I need to check that, and I'll check that later. I'll come back, and I'll talk about that next time. Until next time, James Carter TV, I'm out. Peace.